Starting? Oh, hey, how y'all guys doing? It's the producer for Brothascomics. I didn't know we were starting so soon there. I told you to give me the share screen. I didn't tell you to start the record. It's all good. Welcome to the Marvel Hack Season 11, Episode 7. As we walk through X-Men 1991 on our way to issue number 25. Spoiler alert, something bad happens to Wolverine. We have walked our way really into a what are these things called? A mini series, and not necessarily a good one. It's X-Cutioners song. We did the first 3 issues last week. We're going to do 3 issues tonight. We had a meeting after the podcast last time. It was like, should we skip over this?
I wish I was in that
tried
meeting.
to walk slowly out of the room.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody back away slowly. It's like, should we dive into this? The consensus was, Hutch, you weren't there, is that we would go into X-Cutioners song since we had started it. So this is where we are. So if you're watching on the YouTube Around the Horn tonight, top left is Big Hutch. Say what's happening, man.
Hey, what's up, people?
Hey, man. Bottom left is the Sandman.
What's going on, people?
Man, all good. And bottom right is Brother Beavis. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
So we got 3 issues again tonight. It's X-Force 16, Uncanny X-Men 295, and X-Factor number 85. Hutch, I don't know if you were around to see or listen to the podcast with the Jay Lee art in X-Factor, but it's
awful.
It's something else.
I did some.
Those all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did some Cliff Note kind of stuff to look at some of that shit, and it was awful.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, but hey, he comes back and it's still bad. So so we got these books here tonight. We're gonna get Stryfe again. We're spoiling something that's damn 30 plus years old, y'all. We're gonna get Stryfe. He sucks. Yeah. Just to let you know ahead of time if you hadn't read
based on a character.
Doing my background research, I'm trying to find some of these characters. I couldn't find Stryfe.
Yeah, this is a completely 90s situation here. So yeah, so we're gonna just dive right in because we got 3 books, and that's kind of where it is. So let's go into the first book tonight, which is X-Force number 16. How about that cover, y'all?
Yeah,
busy, ain't it?
Looks like some 5th grade shit.
Come on, not that bad.
I like Rogue snatching up Boom Boom by the hair.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, well, her typical agility wouldn't allow her to do anything else.
Well, the kind of the good part about this as we get right into the book is that the pairings on the cover match the pairings inside the book. Our creative team here is Fabian Nacia is the writer. Greg Capullo is on pencils. Now, Capullo is doing his best Jim Lee imitation here, but he has a very distinct style. He became super famous with the Batman run with him and I think it was Scott Snyder like a few years ago.
That might be right.
Yeah, it looks nothing like this. I mean, he was just doing Jim Lee as they were trying to, find anybody that could do that. Henry Candelario is on the inks or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting looking cover. To pick up where we left off, it starts with a standoff. We have the X-Men blue team. Is that right? Yeah. Versus
kind of.
Sure.
Kind of.
It's a mix. Well, they sort of split everybody up. But yeah, they put Quicksilver on the gold team and pretty much sent them out. So this is most
they're
of the blue
doing.
team.
Yeah, it started with a standoff, that they kind of got the drop on Psylocke at the end of the last issue. And ended on this cliffhanger. It was like, oh, are they going to fight? Now, I wasn't reading books back then. I know on my rereads, at no point in time when I was like, oh shit, I can't wait to see these 2 babyface teams fight. Wrestling term, fuck you, Hulk Hogan. And I just can't. I mean, was it pitched at this point in time that X-Force was like a rogue group of like heroes, like cool heels? And that they needed to fight like against some baby faces, or this is just like, hey, an idea written on a freaking bar napkin. It's like, hey, it'd be a good idea to fight them off.
Yeah, I think they were trying to make them, so they tried to turn them from students into like a paramilitary group under Cable. They still all wore very comical costumes, so it sort of undercuts the message there. But yeah, they were trying to make them like not just the Junior League X-Men, but I think this is I don't think anyone should have ever thought this was like on par. And Cannonball kind of echoes that throughout the book. Like no matter what situation, he's like, look, you might have thought we just won that. We were lucky to get away. This is how he spends most of his time.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think Cannonball acknowledges this. He's like, nobody wants this fight. I'm like, well, that was probably unintentional. Nobody was actually asking to see this. Nobody was like, oh, you know what? I want to see that. And so we get this full splash page here where they're going to fight here. And like I said, it is a repeat of the cover. The title of the book is Jack Lightning. Let's look at the face-offs here. And I was gonna share that screen here, but y'all have it in front of you. Y'all have it all in front of you.
Yeah,
I have it.
That's fine. So look at your face-offs here. All right, so we got Gambit taking an early L from Farrell there. Not shocking.
Jeez, man,
He's awful.
It's time to go back to the second level, second tiers, man. If you're losing to Farrell.
Yeah, Farrell is early. Wolverine and Shatterstar, which we'll come back to later. Shatterstar is absolutely awesome. Yeah. It's awful. Hutch, we made the thing last week. It was like, if you X-Force, if you want to know what people really think of X-Force, watch Deadpool 2. All in like 45 seconds. I mean, that's the extent of Deadpool's influence.
They forgot to put Stryfe in there, though.
Warpath and Strong Guy. Battle there. Yeah.
Somebody on here likes Strong Guy.
Yeah.
That's me. This fight has like all the hallmarks of like a standoff, and then okay, everybody, switch. Like that's the two things is like the blasts that go against each other, and the okay, everybody switch is the comic book fights. It's gonna end one of two ways.
Yeah,
right.
And Cannonball faces off against Havoc in the we ain't no punk bitch fight. Siren and Multiple Man. Yeah, that ain't right.
Does multiple man ever win a fight?
No, he had, outside of duplication, he ain't got no damn powers. He doesn't overwhelm somebody. That's about all he can do.
Yeah. And then the biggest one was on the cover. It's like, how did Boom Boom draw Rogue? We got one of the strongest X-Men here against a Jubilee knockoff.
Yeah.
They don't ever really have Polaris matched up. She's just kind of
lying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a note about
free
Polaris.
safety.
Yeah. I have a note about Polaris for later. So I asked for y'all, like, what's Boom Boom's Marvel card? So she's facing off against Rogue, who is probably fighting at remarkable. I think she has amazing strength, Rogue.
At least,
maybe monstrous, amazing strength. So I mean, a fairly powerful character in the game. What was Boom Boom's Marvel card? What was she fighting at?
She was fighting at poor, I think.
Come on, man.
It was poor. Or poor.
Oh, that's terrible.
I'm trying to.
I mean, her card. I mean, can you put it up on the screen?
I don't know that I have that in there.
It might be too small, but I mean, but she was awful.
Yeah.
What big surprise?
Not a surprise at all. What's her strength? With strength, is it typical or feeble? Aunt May style, or is she poor?
Oh.
She had 34 health and
34
was endurance.
Christ,
that's awful.
Holy shit!
She's. I mean, Rogue should be in jail for beating up on a minor.
Yeah, a weak minor. Good.
She had poor, typical, poor, excellent.
Right.
Or typical. Wow.
And her boom booms could do what?
Amazing.
Her name is bigger than she is.
Ooh.
Yeah. But I think it was like they can detonate up to 10 rounds after she creates them.
Right. After she's been knocked out for 9.
Come on.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that they tried to like give her a push, wrestling term, fuck you, Hulk Hogan, that it was in a book like much later on when I was reading that they tried to have her do something to not suck as bad as she does, but I can't remember where it was. But she's terrible. Like, I mean, just awful. Yep, she's white Jubilee. It's just terrible. So nothing good could come from that. All right, so the other battles there, Rain and Richter, they were tongue fucking the last issue, weren't they? Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't work out.
Next, please.
Yeah. That's not good. Warpath takes the huge L, the strong guy. The stronger you hit me, the stronger I get. Like he pulls the Hulk move there. I mean, okay.
Poor.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, they stuck with Warpath for a long time. He made what? The X-Men movie. He made Days of Future Past, right?
Well, but that was Warpath. This is Thunder. Well, no, that was Thunderbird. This is Warpath.
This is Warpath. Okay,
I think
six in one hand.
Send all
six
your
in one
racist,
hand, half a
send all
dozen
your
in the
racist
other.
stuff to the producer.
Nah, I don't know.
They all look alike.
There it is. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I just don't know that it was anything, like, okay, so he made that. That was helpful, I guess. He made the Spider-Man and that was Thunderbird made Spider-Man and his amazing friends, right?
Yeah, he turned into a bear.
Yeah, sounded like Shaq. So
he's I always loved the character design, and he was only made like 2 or 3 X-Men books.
Yeah.
And then
got killed 3
got
times.
Killed,
colored fella.
Count Nefaria.
Yep.
Yeah.
Colored fella had to die. Yeah.
But not like Bucky.
Yep.
Oh god.
Sunspot's there against Polaris there later
Okay.
on. But that didn't really work out too well from Sunspot, probably. And that was my note. It was like, okay, so Polaris is like a super powerful mutant, and she never gets a real push. Like it's just like, oh yeah, by the way, you have really green hair and you're Magneto's daughter. I mean, her backstory is interesting, but she never really seems. Everything is always filtered through somebody else.
They always write her like as either like extreme low confidence or somehow codependent with somebody else.
Yeah.
Havoc.
She's always
or malice. I mean,
yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, and then they gave her a starring role on that television show.
Right. And that television show went off the air.
Well, at that point, you're like, well, who can we use? Who hasn't been used by another property?
Yeah.
That's how
we don't care about it all.
Right.
Yeah.
50 years of stuff, 60 years of stuff, and this is what we get.
And then there's Wolverine and Shatterstar. Shatterstar's awful. Wolverine's got the coon eyes there. But I mean, he's just awful. I mean, he's so Liefeldian, Shatterstar. If that's a verb or an adjective or whatever. Like it's just he's so terrible. And I mean, it's just it just speaks to how awful Liefeld is.
They kind of tried. Didn't they try to give him and Longshot a little bit of something back in the 90s?
I thought they tried to say that somehow Shatterstar was the son of Longshot and Dazzler.
That's right. It was something that It was some crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know that ever came to pass.
Yeah.
Maybe Mojo broke that up.
Yeah, we skipped those books. So as Brother Beavis alluded to, X-Force is getting the shit wiped out of them here completely. They tell Richter to they tell Richter to clear the room, whatever, and so he does his, make a clap thing, and then he gets taken out by Havoc, and then there's no man left behind with X-Force. They're like, yeah, leave him, and they pull off and leave Richter there. Himself.
He was a waste anyway, so
yeah, Richter's pretty terrible. I mean, as comic book fights go, it was pretty one-sided, I mean,
it should be.
It's kind of standard stuff. So they send Wolverine into hunter mode to like kind of try to hunt these folks down, and there's a line here Wolverine says that he says, oh, they're hiding in somewhere in the woods around this creek. That's the hunting ground out there. And I'm the hunter. And so as I was reading that, and this is 1991, and I was like, you know what? That sounds like a line from a 90s action movie. And I was like, all right, so what are some of your favorite lines from these 90s action movies? I mean, if you're a younger listener, I don't think you understand how like 90s action movies were really the superhero movies of today. Like, I mean, that was it, Stallone,
Schwarzenegger,
hard dude, Schwarzenegger. I mean, those were the, Wesley Snipes, like, I mean, they were really just pumping out these movies. And to be honest with you, as each year and the decade went on, they just got more and more absurd. Which to the point now they barely, they make them every once and then now. Now you got old men like Liam Neeson, hitting people with Geritol bottles. Like, I mean, it's really not a thing anymore that they don't even make these movies. So is there any favorite line from a 90s action movie? Because that was really the tagline. They wanted to run it on the poster. It's the thing that people remembered, I'll be back, but that's an 80s line. So, from the original Terminator. So anybody got one?
Oh, wait, are we constrained to the 90s?
Well, I mean, I was going to say the 90s, but sure. Go ahead if you want to dip back.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think it was a tagline per se, but I love Arnold Schwarzenegger movies back in the day, and I think I like Commando is one of my favorite because it's like super cheesy.
Boy.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Alyssa
I always
Milano,
remember,
though,
like-
right?
What's
Yes.
Well, who
Alyssa
wasn't Alyssa
Milano.
Milano in that?
She played the daughter.
Yeah, and
Back
Radon
then.
Chong was the.
Oh yeah, I
Right,
like I like some Radon Chung too. Yeah.
Yeah. I always there was a guy, he interrogated some dude, and then he was like, "Hey Saleh, remember when I said I'd kill you last? I lied." that line always cracks me up.
Yes,
So
I
there's
remember
one.
that.
That's
Yeah.
But that's not really
solid.
like a catchphrase in the same way as like "I'll be back." Or,
Yes.
Yeah.
Hutch, you got one?
Yeah, Passenger 57.
Yeah, you taking mine. Yeah. Go
So
ahead.
always bet on black.
Always been on black. Yes, that's a classic line. That's not a terrible movie. I know Wesley has some foibles, but that's not a terrible movie. It definitely has its moments for sure.
Oh damn! Well, you got one, Sam. Man, I got another one. Of
I
course.
got one. Y'all may not remember this though. This is actually a little obscure. A Total Recall. After Arnold rips off Michael Ironside's arms, he goes, "See you at the party, Victor," because he punched him in the face earlier, and he said the same line to him. I always thought it was some cool shit. See you at the party, Victor.
Hutch, you had another one.
Damn, was actor laughing at that one. I kind of forgot. Jay, mother blank.
Yeah, I got the Always Bet on Black. Like that was one of my favorite ones.
That's a good one.
Damn.
There's a 9.
Well, Steven Seagal movies. I'm trying.
Oh God.
There's a line from what's that? The original Predator. Where he's like, where the Predator finally takes his mask off before he blows himself up.
Oh, yeah.
He calls him pussy face. I was always love that line. And I was like, oh, okay, this is fun.
And then there's Governor Ventura's line from Predator. I ain't got time to bleed.
Ain't got time to bleed. Yeah.
You got
Well,
time
and
to
as Roddy
duck.
Piper's what We Live, is that
Oh,
the 90s?
They
That
live,
kid
yeah.
bubble gum and kick ass, and I'm
Yeah,
all out of bubble
that's
gum.
a good one.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
that
pretty
was a
good.
one.
So yeah. It just seemed like they were trying to give a Wolverine a line to go through here.
I thought he was just a Dokken fan. That's the Dokken song.
Is it the Hunter?
Yeah. I'm a hunter.
Oh,
Wasn't
nice.
that a Def Leppard song too? Wasn't it?
Die Hard the Hunter.
Die
definitely.
Hard.
Ah, look at y'all. Nice. Okay. So the Gold Team shows up, and then the artwork starts to fall apart here a little bit. Yeah. They land in Chesapeake Bay, and they're searching for Scott and Jean. There's a line in here. What is it say? The writing? Hold on. Oh my God, where is it here? What does it say? Children of the Atom rides on the
yeah.
wave of the genetic fire. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, this is like, oh yeah, let me do something.
They hired Morgan Freeman there or something.
Man, come on, dude. I was like, what in the entire
I was
world?
scratching my head.
So they break into a facility or whatever. Look at Beast's drop kick there. That's high quality leg kick there.
Yep.
Like him and Colossus, get the Marvel team up there.
That's much more like Ricky Morton than Robert
Yes,
Gibson.
definitely.
Oh,
Hey,
geez.
man, listen. So, and then they get attacked from above. Well, we're just about to come up with wrestling here in a second too. They get attacked from above by the Horsemen, but not the good ones. Okay, so I have a note in here too that says, all right, so and listening to a bunch of wrestling podcasts at work and working out or whatever, there was talk like in the era that none of us watch wrestling, like we were just like, well, I know Brother Beavis and I were like, it's time for girls.
This
so we were in
Mongo
college.
time.
No, pre-Mongo, pre-Mongo Nitro, but
Wow.
definitely post high school. And so there was a time when when Arn and Tully were supposed to were coming back from the WWF, and they were going to reform the Horsemen. Tully was doing coke, and he wasn't able to come back, not with a smile. Coke. And so they talked about reforming the Horsemen. And I was listening to one of the podcasts, and they were talking about where one of the ideas that they had pitched was to do the Midnight Horsemen. So you would have had Flair, Arn, Stan Lane, and Bobby Eaton. And I was like, I would have really liked that idea. What do you think about that Horseman group? You don't have the big strong guy, but you have 4 of the best workers.
Yeah. Ironically, like, Arn is the enforcer, but yeah, you don't have like the traditional like tank in the group. But it'd be interesting because you could do almost like you could mix Arn in and out of the Midnight Express too. That would have been really interesting because him and Bobby worked a lot.
Or put the Pretty Boy team of Flair and Stan Lane together.
Oh, yeah.
They would have gotten incredible heat. Oh my God. Like they would have gotten incredible heat. So like the Midnight Horseman, Hush?
This is the first time I've ever heard of that.
Yeah.
I guess I would have liked it.
Yeah. It's better than Paul Roma.
Yeah.
So I mean, it couldn't have been any worse than that. So
and Mongo.
So all right, so Famine takes out Beast. He gets skinny really fast there. Colossus gets the onomatopoeia is cracked by Caliban there. Caliban, if you weren't, I knew you were gonna say that. It was
you
like,
fucking right.
Yeah, my notes says Caliban been rolling 11 on offense for 6 rounds. I mean, the last 2 books, dude, he has just been on complete offense, and Caliban sucks.
Yes, he went from pasty face, white, skinny dude to all of a sudden this.
He got on the gas.
Got on
right,
the gas.
He's on
That's
roids or some shit.
Yeah. And so it takes 2 Omega level mutants to take out Caliban. Word?
Look at that sickle, though.
Yes, man. Again, you're in my head. It says Quicksilver with the Russian sickle on Famine. Yes, that's an absolute takeout there.
And that's a great shot.
That's a great shot. Yeah, I mean, you gotta
anytime you can knock out Famine's good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, she sucks.
So they get in this little mound here or whatever. Is that an ice thing or something that he is converted? And then they get this projection from Princess Leia to General Kenobi here, but it's Mr. Sinister, and he tells them that he did kidnap Scott and Jean. I did do it, B.
I did that shit.
Yeah, I did do it, B.
Me.
Yeah, but but Apocalypse is the cause of all this madness, and Archangel like really loses it because he hates Apocalypse because what he did to him or whatever. It's like, oh, Apocalypse made you cool finally, dick.
Yeah,
I'm grateful.
Yeah,
and banging black chicks too.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, you missed that too. Yeah.
Oh, I started reading a little bit.
Yes. Okay. So we go back to the X Mansion, and speaking of black chicks, Stevie Hunter's there, Val Cooper, and my other note says here, Bishop's lack of continuity of his outfits continues because every scene he's got on a different outfit. There's no continuity in this at all.
He had them unstable molecule suits.
Man, well, and Bishop is Biggie Smalls, man. He's ready to die. And then he takes out Sinister. And then speaking of 90s movies or whatever, we get this shot of Sinister from T2. Now, this is 91. Is T2 came out after this?
I think
it was like 91.
It's close.
It's got to be close. It seems like a direct ripoff from T2. Like, it seems like a direct pull from there. So, but I thought this was after
91.
Yeah, 91.
So they just robbing.
They might have been crossing streams.
Yeah, they were just robbing. So it's a complete T2 shot. I kind of hate that movie, by the way, FYI. It plays
good
still.
Movie. Well,
you know what it is? It's politics. It plays well. That's when Arnold was being his Republican self, and they were trying to stop the violence in the movie. So you had Terminator not killing people. he was just giving people fucking Russian leg sweeps, and like it was arm bars. Like it was like, come on, man, really? Like you're not gonna be killing folks here because you're trying to, make this story. When you think of the original, Terminator or whatever.
On the original, people were dying left and right.
Did
I heard
anybody
there's
see
a
the?
Terminator anime coming out or something like that.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Oh,
yeah, they're planning that. Yeah.
Did anybody see the new one? I heard it was good. The one with they brought the lady back. Did anybody see that?
I saw it.
Oh,
Shit.
The one with
Yeah.
the Hispanic lady is now.
No, Linda.
Yeah,
what's her
they
name?
brought back Linda Hamilton
Linda
Yeah.
Hamilton. Yeah.
and
Is it
all,
any
and
good, huh?
yeah, right. They
The
made
Terminator was
everything.
cool.
It made it
Everything else
chick.
sucked.
It made it chick friendly.
Yeah,
Is it? Was it any good?
the Terminator was
It
cool.
exists.
The movie was.
Yeah.
It exists.
It
It's
was-
can't be-
it's
it can't-
aight.
It
was
can't be any
bad.
worse than the one with Daenerys Targaryen.
I don't know. The
Oh,
one
God.
I never saw that. The one with Christian
Yeah,
Bale's pretty bad.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they Christian Bale
awful.
ones were.
Yeah, I've heard.
Please make it stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm kind of in and out on the Terminator movies, but yeah, I know the one with Daenerys was.
You missed nothing.
I wish they hadn't
Sure.
canceled that show. This
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
show was
good.
great.
Yeah,
Well,
no, that
but-
show was great, and look who's in it too. I
Yeah,
mean,
Cersei of all people.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
And
shoot.
Bree, or that, what was that? Summer. What was her name?
Yeah, Summer Glau, dude.
Summer Glau.
Oh,
was in
yeah,
it.
that's right.
And Brian Austin Green, you guys buried the lead.
You stop that.
Machine Gun Kelly was right.
Yeah, you stop that.
Oh, man.
Wow.
That's messed up.
There was the
Somewhere
fact that
Brian Austin Green says, "Why'd you have to bring that up?"
yeah, really. Yeah. All right. So anyway, so now we get out of this shot.
I just turned the page.
Yes, exactly. And then Cable's getting battle ready for this. And that shot
Powering
of him
up.
with all of his gear on is maybe the most ridiculous shot ever committed to comic books.
You
It's
have to
so
believe
bad.
they knew what they were doing there, though.
I mean, come on, man. Like, honestly, like that's terrible. Like, I mean, the editor was like, okay, yeah, this was cool. That person should have been fired. I don't know if it's
He's built like BattleTech. He's got like rocket launcher on his shoulders.
Some
like-
strong damn straps. That's all I got.
Yeah, I was like, is that thing on his knee that thing that Brett Favre be advertising? That gold
Copper socks?
copper fit. He got copper fit on his knees,
God.
man. Like, I mean,
He is geared up for one hell of a battle.
It's just awful. Like, come on, I hate that shot so much. Like, it made me like want to put the book down.
Thanks
Do
a
you
lot,
see-
Rob. Liefeld. Ugh.
Yeah,
Terrible.
it is. Yeah, I do like the fact that they brought back in the cartoon that in his Swiss chalet, like that's where he hung out. Remember, that's where he like shot Archangel too. And although it wasn't really his house, it was whoever's house they were inside or whatever. But anyway, all right. So there's that. Then we get to Forearm
Oh,
with Scott and Jean. He's dragging them by their hair. Look at Jean's boobs. Awful.
sir, sir.
I'm just saying, it's just awful. And so they get there, and we get so the way they talk about this, and again, I don't know and I don't remember. They talk about this like this this is not his first appearance. Like they've known who Stryfe was. So how did they know? Like, was there another book where Stryfe made an appearance?
Yeah,
is this
Stryfe was in the
first?
New Mutants.
Or new
Okay,
in
see, I
X-Force.
didn't. I mean, I never read the New Mutants, so okay.
I think they hadn't realized who he was up to this point. This
Yeah.
was the big reveal, I think.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, his costume is awful.
Yes.
Did y'all discuss this? Maybe can I bring this up?
Go
So Cyclops and Havoc's and Vulcan's daddy is Corsair, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
And they might have another kid in there somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, and they never talk about the mother. What the mother was just a regular person, right? That got
Regular
killed.
human.
Yes, just killed
All right.
Killed by
Dr.
the-
Ken.
The
Right.
can.
So saying Cyclops had Vulcan wasn't Vulcan Omega level?
I think they tried to say that, but it never panned out. Nobody cared.
Okay. So my point is that how does Jean Grey and Cyclops produce this wasted nut?
What the?
Yeah.
Well, so his Stryfe is way more powerful. So Cable is generally regarded as reasonably powerful, but he's impacted by the techno-organic virus. Stryfe is supposed to be much more powerful because he doesn't have to use his telekinesis to hold back the progression of the virus.
Right.
He's just stupid, and he's insane because he was raised by robots.
Yeah.
And then he throws this little tantrum over the course of this book to teach mommy and daddy their lesson for a minute.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the funny thing is too is it's like they were like, man, we did this Stryfe thing and that didn't really work out. But you know what? Let's revisit that shit and make X-Men. Like, and you know, who's super powerful, who's the genetic offspring of these two as well, but doesn't have
nobody cares about.
Doesn't have the insanity issues until recently, where they made him insane in the books.
And they might as well just done that as some other imprint outside the Marvel universe, because I don't recall there being a single other recognizable character in it.
Yeah, it's just, you know, they tried. They tried. All right. So anyway, back in Texas, his outfit is terrible. He looks like
another 90s outfit.
He looks like a Snyder Cut character.
Yeah, he
That's
does.
what he looks like. I said it. All right. So yeah, I'm Stryfe. Man. All right. And so back in Texas, Wolverine is hunting everybody down. His X-Force is running. Siren is somebody that they never really developed either, too, by the way. You know, it was just like, oh, yeah, your daddy is Banshee, and we're going to give you the exact same powers.
And outfit and powers.
Too. Like, I mean, they just really was like, so it's like somebody was like, hey, we don't have any redheads on this team. What can we do about it? So Siren gets hit with the totality of Betsy's abilities. Logan captures Farrell. It's just a good shot. And then they decide, you know, the shot where all the multiple men are surrounding them all. That's a great shot.
Yeah.
The comic book shot. And they're like, what are we going to do? We're going to surrender. And then they give it up to X Factor, because X Factor's hunt their own people.
D team.
And more smoking.
Yeah. Well, here's the funny thing. Okay, so they capture Cannonball, where they put these shits on his hands. Have y'all seen Cannonball's powers? Just saying. Like, what would be the point of that? Wouldn't it have been better to like put them on his legs?
Probably.
Yeah,
probably.
They can hunt them down. They can't capture them, I guess.
Yep. And the art really falls apart in the back of the end of this book. And then at the end, you know, Wolverine's like, just had sex. You know? Get that heater out. You know, because well, my note actually says Havoc pulls the Falcon to Captain America and Winter Soldier. When do we stop? So he says, what do we do now? So, you know, it is what it is. I mean, it was an okay book. I mean, you know, whatever. If you wanted to see X-Force and X-Men fight, what did y'all think of that one?
Well, the art was probably the best I think we've seen so far. I mean, we did get a Kubert book in there, I think. But I think he was still finding his way at that point.
Yes, he is.
It was, not bad for face-on-face combat, like you said.
Yeah, it's face-on-face comics. That's fine. Hutch, thinking about that one, Sandman?
I've seen a lot worse. It was, at least there were action in it. I mean, it was one-sided as hell, which at least it made sense. At least they didn't have like X-Force beating up the X-Men or something.
Well, Gambit got his ass beat.
Yeah, it was never heard from again.
There's the problem, Gambit. So,
yeah.
You're supposed to be an assassin.
Yeah, he's a thief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He lost his teeth to freaking Farrell. That ought to tell you something.
Yeah,
I'll tell you a lot.
It's a bad look, bro.
So we jump into Uncanny 295.
Speaking of bad art.
Yeah.
Oh God.
What do y'all think of that cover?
5th grade.
Yeah. It just looks very flat.
That was a.
Okay, I'm gonna have you look at it again. It kind of looks like Colossus is fucking Apocalypse.
Oh yeah. Something, whatever.
I mean, honestly, it really kind of does look like he has him bent over a little bit. And I mean, Apocalypse is taking it, man. He's a a noted bottom. And
bottom bitch.
I'm just saying. That may have been a line step. But like I'm just saying, like if you look at the cover there, it's a little bit, That's what it looks like to me. I don't know. I could be a terrible person, but all right. So there's that. Let's see. Oh yeah, and my I got problems. And then my note says, "Look like Beast is like I'm trying to fuck next. Like hurry up, Colossus."
So what is this, a scene out of Shawshank?
Oh,
Getting your cuts in there, producer.
Yeah, no man, exactly. So I was like, "Hey man, come on, Colossus, you're taking too much time." So yeah, so we have that, and then just Storm just overseeing this anal rape of Apocalypse. All right, so our title is familiar refrain or whatever. Lobdell's the artist, Lobdell's the writer, Brandon Peterson's the artist, Terry Austin on inks. So got that going for us. And Apocalypse is happy, y'all. Like he's really, really happy. But he's also really skinny because his powers, he wasn't able to get his full sleep on.
He can get his own full load and sleep.
Yeah, he didn't get his own sleep in, and he's like, kind of like
minus
whatever.
4 column shift.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a whole conversation. Yeah, so they woke him up too soon. So as he gets out to his chamber, he's confronted by the gold team. Oh dog it, freaking book is not giving me the. Oh yeah, full chapter. There we go. Sorry.
The gold team consists of who now?
Colossus.
Oh yay!
Storm. Yeah, you would like that. Colossus, Storm,
Archangel, Iceman,
Archangel,
and Jean and Bishop. But Jean got kidnapped. Bishop refuses to leave the mansion.
Yeah.
And then they stuck Beast on the team since they knew they were fighting Apocalypse. And they put Quicksilver on the team because they thought they might be going to the blue area of the moon and have to deal with the Eternal or the
his ex-wife.
Inhumans.
Wow.
Yes, his ex-wife. Right.
Again.
Colossus with a huge Beat Boy stance, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, right in the middle of the page. And again, this is the Jim Lee, whatever, the stare at the camera shot. Like this is a classic Jim Lee, and everybody's just doing their imitations of him at this point. So, yeah. So I mean, can we just state for the record, Apocalypse also sucks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anybody
Wait a
disagreeing
minute.
with this? Seriously?
He's unbeatable.
Apocalypse. He has blocked when they first brought him out. But his survival of the fittest thing has survived for 35, 40 years.
Mm.
And
his character design and his nebulous power set. I mean, I agree that like the trappings of like his approach and the trappings of the character, but the design is just awful. And I have no idea what his powers are.
Yeah.
Anything he needs.
They made him look like Dennis Rodman. That ain't good either.
My note here also says that he's like, again, it's another wrestling reference. It's fucking Andre the Giant because you can't really beat him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he has to stay strong. You can't beat him. So it's really just like a big character taking up space. I mean, it's just nothing that you can do with him. I mean, what are you gonna do? Beat him and send him away? Well, he's the survival of the fittest. He would never, that would never work for his character design. So he has to always come on top at some point.
I think he has class 1000 regeneration. Jesus. I think that's right.
Probably in his pyramid or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he could probably teleport to it. And,
yeah, he could do just about anything, I believe.
Yeah, he's Nebulous, the character.
Right. Nebulous is a good term. He can shapeshift. He can shoot eye beams. He can hydraulic punch, kick.
Yeah, it's all over the place. They attempted to recreate the Professor Xavier as a jerk shot here with Jubilee, with her ranting about this situation with X-Force. My note says love. You have to low us for a long time to know what that means, but like giving Jubilee like this full page to complain about this is just an absolute ridiculousness. I just can't. And so they were like, all right, let's capture X-Force and put them in the shitty uniforms that none of us want to wear anymore.
That's punishment enough, I guess.
That's punishment enough. We're gonna make you wear these shitty uniforms because they're terrible.
That's like they had nothing but the shirts for the team that didn't win the Super Bowl. They were already printed, so they just
The ones that was in Ethiopia. Yeah.
You can't send them to Africa, so
Yeah.
send them to the
So give them to
Xavier
X-Force.
Institute.
Yeah, it's a sensitive topic, Brother Beavers, for Bengals fans. Very
Twice.
sensitive. Twice. Yeah. Yeah, but they got Cannonball looking like freaking Havoc there. There's not a real distinction of the character there. Polaris is super upset that they're holding somebody think of the children.
Everyone's in their feels here.
Yeah, for sure. And so, I mean, I don't know. It's just so weird. And then the art gets so bad as the book goes on.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, Psylocke is like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to kill Xavier. Wait, what? Like, where did this come from?
She's an assassin.
Yeah, I guess. You know what? I guess.
I don't know. It doesn't make fucking sense.
That made no sense whatsoever. I was like, what? Why? What's going on? I mean, like, what? There was no like lead up to this. There was no like thought box. Like, you know what? I need to take him out for whatever reason.
I'll be right back. I gotta go kill Xavier.
Probably, sorry. He probably has peephole pictures of her dressing and whatnot.
I mean, he is a creep.
He is a creep, right?
Yeah.
Hickman could bring that back up in next episode or something.
Man, shit. Somebody was like, "Hey, where's Psylocke go?"
Look at her forearms. She's got calves in her arms.
Yeah, she does. I mean, she's not looking. The art's really bad here. Yeah. Sorry, Brandon Peterson. This is not good. Let's should have brought the stunt cock in. You get a chance to see the techno virus jizz all over Xavier's face too.
Nice
something that they.
Yeah,
it is. But that's what it is. I mean, it just kind of, and the funny thing is like this whole idea about this virus or whatever, he got shot hole up in the chest. And if this was such a deadly thing, I mean, he's been alive for quite a few issues at this point. It's not really in an unexplainable situation of why he's, able to still fight this off, the CR technology, I guess. So, I don't know.
This is third or fourth clone body, so sure.
Because it's a 12-part book, so
yeah, gotcha. So they go back to Apocalypse's crib, and Iceman is attacking. Really, Iceman? Really?
Hey,
Class 1000 what? Class 1000 what?
He has power. He's powerful.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Iceman? Really?
He's an Omega level mutant.
He is an Omega level mutant. Come on, man.
He's just tapping his potential. The tip of the iceberg.
Man,
why is he an Omega level? Yeah, mutant. Is it?
They just roll the roulette wheel. Iceman. What the fuck?
I remember those books. It was that were because now we can retcon or whatever. That was saying because he was so goofy or silly or whatever, it was holding back his ability to reach his highest potential.
Yeah.
But really, it was just because he was gay. I think that's what they're telling us now.
Line step.
No. I mean,
Line
honestly,
step.
what they've come back and done is like he never was able to be his true self, or he wasn't his true self, and that was what was holding his ability back. He wasn't able to come out of the closet to be his true self. Now in the books, I don't necessarily get that he's this Omega level mutant, because I think right before Age of Apocalypse, didn't he like go nuts and like his powers like went?
He was out. He lost control of it for a little while or something.
Something like that.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Something.
The White Queen stole his body at one time, and
something.
I mean, I like Iceman. I like it. I always like the design. I like the character. Like it's not like that, I think that's kind of what the thought was, is that he was never his true self, so he could never reach his full potential. Apocalypse takes out Beast with the mono. Look at the drool in Beast after he gets hit in the face. Drooling, man. He's knocked the spit out of him.
Literally.
Beast is always on the ground, knocked out.
Or in the air.
I mean, geez, just retire, man.
Yeah.
Stay in academia.
Go back to the Avengers.
Yeah, Jay, go back to the Champions.
Wow. Jeez, come on.
I think he was on the Champions.
He was, exactly.
He was on the Defenders.
He was on the Champions.
No, he was not.
You talking to a champions
Angel and
expertise over
Iceman
here.
were in the champions, but that Beast was not.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh,
He was in the Defenders. He was in the new Defenders
Oh, I
with
think you're
them.
right. Yeah, I think it was on the Defenders.
Yeah, he takes out Storm as he's flying across the room. By the way, as Hutch is looking this up about him being in the Defenders.
Well,
And
he
then we
was
go.
in it. He was in every
Or
group
in
there for a
Well,
minute.
yeah, they
Yeah,
stick
he
him in a lot
was.
of places. They go back to Stryfe's crib, and then Jean's outfit is much more colorful now than it was in the previous issue. And then it looks like Dr. Octopus is doing an alien probe on Jean, and it's she's using her powers to fight off whatever these things, but I'm not sure what these probes are doing to Jean. Like, why is she being poked and prodded there? Like, how does
Because
that?
this is little emo daddy and mommy issues where he's like, he got raised by robots by Apocalypse, and so this is what it feels like when an innocent babe is bereft of the love and warmth that it's birthright.
Yeah.
Worst villain promo ever.
He's got daddy issues. I don't know. I'm just reading this for the first time. Like I said, I didn't collect all these books because I didn't collect X-Force, I didn't collect X-Factor when I was going back in my reread. So I'm just kind of seeing this for the first time. But I remember people, maybe y'all being the people telling me like the X-Cutioners song sucks.
This is really the modern era of crossovers where not only were the crossovers not great because they kind of saved these, they tried to make them these big stories and they were all so long because it was crossing over all the titles. But then even the worst part was for the 6 to 9 months in between, then you just got filler waiting for the next one. That was like almost the worst part of it.
Yeah. And then committing to the crossover whatevers or the events now to me it's the ruination of comic books for the most part. It's just we're just going from event to event and no event has any lasting ramifications moving forward. It's just an event. It's AEW booking. Shit happens and then it's over. It's like it didn't mean anything. It was just happening in that moment and then that's it. So yeah. All right. So back to the mansion, whatever. Val Cooper is giving her the design of Stryfe on the digital board, like of his character design or whatever. That looks like what Liefeld maybe drew first, and then they just like expanded out from that. Like that just looks really terrible. I'm okay. So why is Val leading this? I know that she's a part of leading X Factor or whatever.
Yeah, she was the government liaison for X Factor.
Okay. Yeah. All right. But so my note says here is like all we know about him is that he was original leader of the Mutant Liberation Front. So I am going to refer that to now as MILF every single time it comes up. Please prepare for multiple MILF jokes. Okay, I'm just letting you know right now there will be MILF jokes continuously throughout the rest of this podcast. And then Jubilee, are you sure it's not just Cable with a bucket over his head?
Dun, dun, dun.
Rim shot.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it reminded me of Buckethead, the dude from Guns N' Roses, when I read that. And then we get to the Scooby-Doo shot with the team here. All right, so what are we gonna do? And I know we run Scooby-Doo a lot on here, but clearly the people that wrote these books watched a lot of Scooby-Doo.
The people who read these books apparently watch do these podcasts.
I'm not writing this book though. Come on. Oh, okay, hold up. We're not gonna be. This is a Scooby-Doo free zone here, sir.
What do you mean? We all watch Scooby-Doo. Scooby, Scrappy. All their names.
Scrappy. I do.
You know all of them.
I do. But still.
Exactly. So if you know their names, damn it, you watched them.
Fine.
That's what we had back then.
Well, the mystery show was really good, but the rest of them are all pretty bad. All right. So anyway, so we get to this thing now, and then so this is a 90s comic book fans' wet dream here coming up in these last few pages. An absolute masturbatory whatever. We're going to get Bishop, White Bishop, which is Cable, or is Cable, or is Bishop Black Cable. Anyway, Wolverine And we're going to get them all together here over the next couple of issues, and this is just that. So finally Bishop changes to his outfit, and he's really, he's good to go now, and they're fighting or whatever, and they're looking for Cable's safe house as they're going through, and they're just beating up jobbers all throughout the whole thing. And the note here that he wrote is what does he say? Together they are the best at what they do. Really?
How did Bishop get included in all of a sudden?
No, I mean, it's just yeah, Canadian jobbers, by the way. I mean, they're in Canada. I'm not sure why Cable has a safe house in Canada. Maybe he's got safe houses everywhere. It's Canada.
Probably.
Well, in his time zone, United States finally beat Canada in something.
Yeah. So, and we go back to the fight or whatever, and there's freaking Mr. Fantastic. I mean, Apocalypse beating up Quicksilver. There, look at his powers.
Who hasn't done that before?
Yeah, his powers are all over the place. Colossus with the spear, my God, spear. Colossus takes him down, and I mean, it's just a big old comic book fight.
That's excellent fighting for you.
Oh no, he rolled 12. So I mean, it's just really just a bunch of like rah, 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 for the rest of the book, really. I mean, am I missing anything here? Was there a big note?
No. Just like when he's done, he's like, oh, 6 X-Men in under 60 seconds. I thought I was past my prime 100 years ago. I was like, really?
Yeah.
You fought the gold team, bro.
Yeah, Quicksilver was on that team.
You're
And Storm
beast.
did nothing. Storm got taken out by a cross-body block
Beast.
from her own teammate. So my other note in here says, Apocalypse is like, I'm gonna go out and find the real killers, like OJ. It's like, really? Who's framing me for this? I'm gonna go find the real ones. Oh, okay. So yeah. So anyway, so they bring
the next
them back.
page, they shouldn't have shown Havoc and Gambit in the same page. It's like, oh yeah, you guys have the same outfit.
Somebody, the editors failed.
Somebody messed up.
Yeah. Well, I like how they come into the room and there's clearly no light, so Gambit has to light the room with his powers and shit. It's like, hey, wait, man, Xavier didn't play the bill before he went into that coma, so we gotta use these powers to light this fucking room and have this conversation. I mean, Gambit sucks. All right, I'm just gonna say it.
You used to love Gambit.
I like the design.
Yeah, I think this is the tail end of his push too.
Yeah, the design is great, but as a character, reading these books, it sucks. And if you've been listening to this for a while, we really decided as older comic book fans, like reading this stuff is just killing our childhood. We might as well just run over some puppies.
And y'all love that cartoon too.
Well, I was gonna say like his win-loss record in the cartoon isn't any better, but I think like, most of our love for Gambit, most of the love that Gambit gets comes from the cartoon.
Yeah,
he's
a screw.
Yeah,
nice. So they interrogate him. They do the good cop, bad cop situation on him, and then Sam is like, all right, fine, I'll tell you where Cable is or whatever. I mean,
his reward, they give him his clown costume back.
Yeah.
Just
not even a costume. It's I don't know what the top and bottom are, but that stupid 1910s head goggle piece he's wearing.
Yeah. Sam's like, what do you know about MILFs?
He's like, oh shit, what do you know?
What do you know about MILFs?
Who told you what?
Yeah, exactly. Like Stryfe leads the MILFs. All right, and then so they negotiate, and X-Force and X-Men are going to work together to take out all the MILFs. I'm like, hey, come on, not all of them. So Cable shows up to his Canada safe house. The outfit is still terrible. The art is so awful, dude. I'm sorry, man. This is bad. He gets to his safe house. They show up. Look who's here. My God. It's Bishop and Wolverine. Now, isn't there some mini-series with these teams up together? Isn't there a Wolverine and Cable mini-series that comes out sometime in the 90s?
Oh, I don't know.
And I think there's maybe a Bishop and Cable. But there's like,
well, in the cartoon, there's a Cable and the Bishop timeline thing, is there not? Doesn't
the one with like Mr. Mixelplix?
Doesn't like Cable
and
come
Mortis?
into the Days of Future Past Bishop storyline or something? Don't they basically make us pay for the same cartoon again?
Yeah, they did do
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
That
Let's
sounds
show
about
all the clips of all the other horrible
Yeah,
ones and put it all
yeah.
together.
A
Mhm.
complete bottle episode. My note says Cable attempts to get what he needs to take out Stryfe and the MILFs, and runs into Bishop and Wolverine, and then the whoop whoop whoop, I guess, is the alarms going off over there. I mean, that's fine. Look, this art compared to what we're about to read is
This was a treat.
Van Gogh.
You better.
yeah, it's a chef's kiss. I mean, this is a complete filler episode, correct, Sandman? This is all filler.
Awful. Yeah, this is just empty fighting at its best, to say the least.
We don't know what to say, so let's fight.
There you go.
I mean, that's pretty much it, which is fine. I mean, those happen every once and then too.
Wait, the one we just read is just filler?
You don't think that's filler?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess the big thing, it was interesting that it seemed like they didn't want to just go like straight through the apocalypse fight. So they just put in other random story elements in the middle just to break it up. I mean, the big thing was, I guess, to get Apocalypse in the fight, but this is like the kitchen sink of crossovers. Like there is very little about the X-Men, I guess, other than Magneto, who they are saving. There's very little about the X-Men that's not in these books.
Yeah. I mean, hold on. Let me pull it back up. What? 85? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I don't. If the ultimate goal here is that you're going to make Stryfe into a killer heel, that's fine. But I'm getting the sense that pretty much after this, Stryfe is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know of any, because I'm back reading here shortly thereafter, and I don't remember any Stryfe stories. So if that was the goal, then you just, I mean, again, modern comics, and we can go shit on, back day comics too. You made this whole mini series, and what's the pull coming out of this? Like, what was the thing? Like, oh, okay, now we're gonna have this moving forward, and it's affected the entire Marvel universe, or at least the X-Men, so much for moving forward. I just don't think that that's there.
Yeah, I can't remember if this sort of makes X-Force not, like, they're generally regarded as criminals because of him. I can't remember if this changes their arc. I don't think it does a whole lot for anybody else. Although this did tee up the some of the Gene and Scott, what was that? Oh, that other also horribly illustrated side limited series about them going to the future and somebody else in
Phoenix.
Yeah, Cyclops and Phoenix. Yep.
Yeah.
That was awful.
Yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, they give Archangel a little bit of storyline here, and him and his wings and his hurt feelings, but yeah, it's
it's not a great one. And then we'll cap it off with it not being great. The cover art for X Factor 85. Look at Wolverine's claws. They're a solid 10 feet long.
Syringes.
I mean, this is bad.
Syringes.
This is bad. Hutch, look at that, man. You can't tell me that that's any good. I looked
at it. Damn it, I'm going blind.
It's bad.
And he's a vampire, apparently.
Okay, just for y'all, because y'all are more involved in this. On that cover, I don't know what you're seeing. The one I'm seeing, it says Beyond Video, the new Dragon Quest game.
Yeah.
Every time I see that, I think it's freaking Dragon's Lair, or not Dragon's Lair, but Dungeons and Dragons. Because aren't they stealing the design of the D and the dragon there? Like,
they probably have something to do
false
with
advertisement.
They probably borrowed it.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
this is 90 something.
What's that shit? Bait and switch. Like, I keep looking at that. I'm like, oh, this is like Dragon's Lair or Dragon's Lair.
When Gygax lost his shit.
Yeah. It's like Dungeons and Dragons is advertising on Marvel books. All right. So anyway, this book is Peter David, Jay Lee, Al Milgrom on inks. I wonder if Al Milgrom got this shit and was just like, bruh, really? I gotta ink this? Like, I don't even know where to draw any lines. So yeah, it's just a big gun fight from the start here. Somehow when they get in there, Bishop has this huge. How does Bishop miss that shot there?
But
I mean, honestly, yeah, Bachum is the onomatopoeia. How does he miss?
Well, because apparently Cable is better at what he does than what Bishop does.
Cable is throwing a punch with a gun, whereas Bishop has an actual gun. I'm just saying that doesn't make any sense. Oh, the title is Snicks and Bones. Well, okay, sure.
Sure.
Well, that's clever.
Yeah. So, what does my note say? Oh yeah, Bishop gets taken out by a file cabinet. Bishop sucks too. Like I know y'all are like listening to this.
No,
Like, man,
I think we
Bishop
have
sucks.
Bishop has and always will.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah.
He had an opportunity to be a solid player, but they ruined it.
He didn't pass the ASVAB or something.
Yeah, exactly. Man, listen. Yeah, I remember when we read the Civil War books or whatever, and he was getting curb stomped by Captain America. Like I mean, he was like, "Hey, what about?" And then he was right on the ground, like immediately, like just nothing. Like he's just a freaking.
He's MC Ren.
He's a black jobber. Hey, hold on, sir. No,
he's MC Ren. He's part of the NWA, but the part that we forget about.
You watch your mouth. So all right. So then the other X-Men, they've gone to Arkansas looking for MILFs. That's probably not a great idea.
You can find Walmart.
Now I'm not booking that territory for MILFs, sir. It's not a great idea. And
Ozarks, there's all kind of shit going on in Ozarks.
Okay, so then I didn't understand this, probably because the art and probably a little bit of poor writing too. Okay, so these people fighting the X-Men, they some just random Joes, right? They ain't got no powers, right?
You said they're in Arkansas.
So they're just
right. They got
whole Arkansas.
Right. They got power teeth.
No, is this like a militia? Because that would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
so it's just a militia.
More sense than anything else.
A MILF militia. So are they MILF members?
They might be MILF sympathizers.
Right.
Yeah.
MILF adjacent.
MILF adjacent.
Walmart shoppers.
Okay, so they're literally fighting job guys completely.
They misunderstood. They're like, I heard the MILFs are here. Oh, that's a different MILF. That's not what I was.
Them's is Democrats.
Yeah,
Kill them.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
New Yorkers.
New Yorkers.
Yeah,
oh, exactly.
They do. They came down from New York trying to tell us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get them, Billy Bob.
You trying to tell us what MILFs are?
Right.
Yeah, my note says this is what happens when crossovers go on for too long.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Like this is like, hey, we need to fill some pages here. And
I like the strategically positioned guy blocking the Psylocke crotch shot. I don't know if you're to that page yet.
Oh, wait a second. Rook's got coon eyes and he like 44 triple F breast in that shot.
Yeah.
Their boobs are ridiculously huge. Back there, Switzerland Apocalypse is in Cable safe house. Houses ain't that safe if everybody can get into them.
Dr. Adler.
Yeah, exactly. Cable using all of his technology, and he Scooby-Doo's his way into some answers revealed later too. It's all Scooby-Doo, Hodge. Stop. It's all Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo rules.
X-Men
drool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right. And so we get to the fight, and I don't want to attack him, but I also don't want to do this by myself. So I mean, what's Cable's Marvel card?
Oh God!
I sent it to you.
You sent that.
You did?
Yeah.
I sent it. I sent it.
He's got to be fighting at least incredible, probably
He's
amazing.
got a lot of remarkable. The classic Sandman line. He's got a lot of remarkables.
Okay, so but and again, his powers are weird too because he's always shooting guns.
Yeah.
But
and his eyes is always glowing too.
But he looked like he's built like he should have like monster strength, but I don't think he does. I think he's only remarkable,
probably remarkable.
Oh, that's the Agatha Harkness card. That's not the same.
No.
No, we'll need that later.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me pull it up. Actually,
Yeah, the Kate. I
Oh
seen
yeah,
Kate.
yeah. Excellent, incredible fighting, excellent agility, excellent strength, remarkable endurance.
there you go.
Excellent
Remarkable
strength.
110. Excellent agility or excellent telepathy, incredible telekinesis, force field, force blast.
Mm.
Mhm.
Remarkable strength in his left arm. Bionic eye, infrared 1, column shift for ranged.
He has every martial arts.
Military, yes,
Right.
Military,
Yeah.
espionage,
Neo.
That must be like
Loading that
advanced
freaking-
rules.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like loading patterns into his brain like Neo. Jujitsu, karate, like he do all that shit.
Taskmaster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
oh
Yeah.
god, yeah.
hmm Yeah,
Sure.
right. Well, their fight continues, and it's just ridiculousness all over the place with really bad art or whatever. And then we finally get this face off with Bishop in there, and Cable hits him with his powers, and Bishop no sells it. And you know, it's like he shoots him back. Batoom is the onomatopoeia there. But I mean, this is just not good. And then the X-Men are taking all these panels to take out MILFs or MILF adjacent militia members. This is terrible. Like,
Well, they didn't want to hurt him.
couldn't Psylocke just put him to sleep?
Psylocke could have showed some breast, and that would have.
She only murders. She
Yeah, that
doesn't
would have done it.
do. She
Yeah,
only
honestly.
murders invalids. She
Yeah,
doesn't.
and then some people show up, and I'm like, who the hell? It looks like the
He
serpent.
wasn't the only one.
The Dragon Lady, and they.
Yeah,
Dragon.
This is like, oh, she had the New Japan wrestling title. She's the shit. Like, I don't. It's because you read about her in a magazine.
yeah,
doesn't mean she's
exactly.
good.
I read about her in the Observer.
Yeah.
I don't understand like who these people are at all. Like I've never seen any of these characters before.
I think they're from New Mutants / X-Force, but
well, that
and
was
actually, I think we get
we
get a shot here of Tempo, who was on the vote for the X-Men, vote for the next X-Men.
Oh.
But she gets the psychic knife, and that's it.
yeah,
Right.
well, you know,
You lose, bitch.
yeah, that's. I mean,
This
you know.
picture of Gambit.
I was just about to say it. That
Oh,
shot of
God.
Gambit,
didn't
that's
notice that the
so
first time.
bad. Yeah,
Woo.
that's awful.
Oh,
Like,
that's horrible.
That's really, really bad.
That is-
And I do like how he does the shadows or whatever, like on some of the shots. Like I think
Yeah.
that's cool, but the
it
rest
doesn't
of
work with this.
yeah, I
this
mean, look at
title.
his Gambit.
Really,
Gambit
Yeah.
needs corrective eyewear.
This thing we were like, he's just not for groups. Like if it's just one guy in a lot of splash pages, I think
Yes,
his
exactly.
style works, but
yeah.
there's too much going on here now.
Gambit rocking that what the kid that wore the helmet on the bus looked like when he grows up, man.
Yeah.
The kid in the helmet. This is not
That's-
good.
Line
They both kind of
step.
have the same. They're both kind of
Nice,
Flock of
Deb.
Seagull fans. and this-
Yeah, hey man, that's right. I ran, that's for sure. Love Flock of Seagulls. And then Cyclops is like, he hulks up completely here. Like he has had an absolute enough of being messed with his freaking irregular seed. It's just not good. It's not a good situation. So but he's getting Stryfe is mind fucking him too, so that doesn't work. I mean, you know what? Like y'all are gonna have to help me out. And I might have had it wrong. Is his face like when it's drawn like that or Stryfe? Was that game? Was it Blast Star that looked like that?
Oh, Sinistar.
Sinistar. Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
yeah.
that's my game.
Yeah.
That is my game. I
Yeah.
love them
Then he
shit.
used to like talk shit to you. Like, yeah,
Yes.
I'm about to
Yeah.
eat you. I'm gonna blow
Right.
you up. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
looks like Sinistar. I'm just like, man, that reminds me of something completely here.
Sinistar meets Ultron. Something. Man.
Yeah.
It's just bad.
I love that game. You can never find that shit.
That's classic, baby. That's like
Hold on.
80s.
I think I have. Isn't that on the classic games for the PlayStation 2?
If that was on, if it
Probably
is, I would have it, sir.
I mean, I have one. I have to dig
It's out there
PlayStation 2
somewhere.
up
I'm sure I've
but
seen it.
I
Yeah.
have to look and see. All right. So anyway, Forearm shows up. He's terrible.
Yes.
and more fighting, and then somebody gets decapitated here.
Kamikaze, right?
Yeah, I mean, it
that's
just
right.
kind of came out of nowhere, and and again, they tease this idea that Archangel's like crazy now that he turned blue and stuff, but decapitations? We didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it's the whole thing is they're trying to say, well, he believes that the wings themselves are evil, and they have a mind of their own.
Yeah,
They do.
Bloody, bloody.
Yeah. Well,
Kill the Japanese guy, why don't you? Oh well. Good night.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, Wolverine willing to give Cable the benefit of the doubt, and it's like, if I was a real killer, you would know it or whatever. And then my note says Bishop in his blackest moment ever in comic books is like, nigga, what? No, I'm not think so. I don't want to hear this. Like, that's it. I'm done. Like, I'm not doing this. So he tries to pop the trunk, and hit the deck here with these guns, but it doesn't really work out. And Wolverine's like, oh, I'm gonna attack you. If you really think I did it, then hit me then. Hit me then. If you really think this is, and he cuts his guns. Okay. I mean, all right. Okay. Tell me I'm missing something here, y'all, because these books are just. This is the worst of the three of them by far. But what do y'all think?
Artwork is abysmal, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that's the D-level plot about what happened with the mutant that got attacked before the concert for Lila Cheney or whatever.
Yeah,
it just comes
weird.
out of nowhere. Like,
I don't
it's
know
just,
what that's. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what's going on with this.
Well, I think that was probably like the regular team, like, yeah, we can go do your crossover, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop our programs.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we got this going on too, just in case. We need a couple of pages for that.
Yeah, these were the expatriates.
Yeah.
Check, please.
Yeah. I'll take MILFs. And there's another character that looks ridiculous too. Who the hell is that? That's about to attack. The one that's about to attack Gambit.
I think is that Wildside, maybe.
Wildside.
Is he a vampire? What the hell?
I don't know.
Don't know?
He's got look, man, he has got serious 90s hair band hair. Like, he's got the makeup as well. He could have been in Poison.
Yes, it is Wildside.
Wow.
He's a mainstay member and sometimes leader of the terrorist MILF. Wildside refers to fight hand to hand, but will use his power to cause opponents to hallucinate as a last resort.
When the MILFs use their hands.
And he's still alive?
I didn't say that.
Yeah, he should definitely have been a legacy virus death here.
Oh,
yeah.
We could definitely kill him off.
He was listed as depowered by M-Day, repowered by the Mother Vine, rejoined the reformed MILFs, now led by Hope Summers. Yeah.
They brought the MILFs back?
He's still available for cons and
podcast.
Podcast. And you can find him on Cameo.
All right. Hey.
Giving out birthday greetings.
30 years.
I was at this con one time and Wildside tried to sell me his action figure.
That's probably worth a lot of money because there's only about 2 of them.
Actually, that was a Boogie Woogie Jimmy Valiant swipe at you.
I think he's still alive. He might come find you.
Yeah, when Boogie Woogie tried to get you to buy his stuff.
Yeah, yes, I was there. It was awful.
And then before this ends, what was Reaper?
Yeah,
comes out and gets the drop on a couple of on Quicksilver, and he's standing there. You can barely. This is really bad art, and that's it. And that's it. Those are the 3 books.
Yeah, it's over.
Man, listen.
I kind of wish we had been doing these 4 at a time. It would make every one of these a little more painful, but we only have 1 more.
Right, we'd be done a 4th fashion.
We could have taken that extra spoonful of medicine. We could have only had to do a 3-day course.
It's just not great. I mean, again, even when I get into arguments with people on the Twitters, is like, oh man, y'all are talking about that book. That books were good. I'm like, have you read it as an adult? Because things that I thought were cool when I was younger aren't necessarily cool now, and that's not necessarily a bad thing to me, but holding on to something that you think is still cool when it's clearly not. I just
it's vintage.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's good for its moment. It was good in that
90s.
time frame, or was it? Like that's the other thing too. Like was it actually good, or was it was the best of the options that we had in front of us?
You saw most of those characters get into a tree clipping thing and massacred. So what did that tell you?
Yeah, I mean, and that tells you what Fox or whatever, or Marvel, Disney, or whoever thinks of them. But it's just not good. And and I think holding on to that nostalgia piece sometimes, it's a good thing to remember, Sinistar or whatever. But if you played Sinistar now, you'd be like, what the hell is Sinistar?
I would enjoy Sinistar right now.
Exactly. So it's I'm gonna jump on a grenade here. It's like when I go back and play. Oh God, what's that game? We used to play it all the time. Crazy Cats. We could play 4 people.
Gauntlet.
Yeah, Gauntlet. If you're gonna play Gauntlet as an adult,
yeah.
Hey, I got Gauntlet on my PS4 right now.
Yeah. I think I do too.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, this was kind of a good idea.
The elf needs food.
It's like, wait, this is the same on every level, and there's no way to win it.
But in the
more quarters in.
Yeah, but in the moment it was awesome. So I don't know.
All right. And Great Axe or Golden Axe,
yeah. Speaking of that's a game I also never beat. By the way, like, is there a beat, or is it just
for Gauntlet?
No, not Golden Axe, for Gauntlet.
For Gauntlet?
Boss?
I ain't never beat that shit.
I think it goes on forever.
Okay. There might be like a level 99 or something like that.
Right. All right. I ain't never got there. And I sure didn't have enough quarters to do it at crazy.
Yeah, I don't think I got past level 5. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah. A real quick story before we get into WandaVision. I just remember hanging out at Crazy Cats, like, man, if the race ride starts, it's a wrap for me. That's pretty much it.
They wouldn't be able to find you with all the cigarette smoke and all the other shit there.
Like, man, this could go south quick. There's no getting to no bus.
And you know what I used to hate? Somebody put their little quarter on the side, like, I got next.
The unspoken arcade rules.
Right. I got next. Man, fuck you and your stank ass quarter. Or actually token. It wasn't.
Yes, tokens.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's try to get our WandaVision review in. So we were 2 weeks behind or whatever. But again, things have happened in those 2 weeks. I called 2 weeks ago a little bit filler vision. Last week was a full-on episode of essentially explaining who the Scarlet Witch is or how. And so there's probably fan theories abound. We probably have our own thoughts about it as well. So it's kind of going to focus on issue or episode 8, where essentially they're alluding to the fact that Wanda had powers before she touched the Infinity Stone. Like that's the whole premise, at least behind Agatha's theory, that she had powers. And they started to fill in the gaps of some of these things about Wanda's, overwhelming grief, from her parents dying to Pietro dying to Vision getting his freaking head caved in. And, and she just, couldn't take it anymore. And that grief just came out where she, created this whole world of fantasy based on when this whole fantasy world based on, the fact that that was her comfort, when she was younger, to watch sitcoms or whatever. Also, that made me feel old as fuck. Like, you're like, oh yeah, we're watching Malcolm in the Middle as like a classic sitcom. I'm like, damn,
I couldn't stand that show when it was out.
Yeah,
but now after Breaking Bad, I go back and watch it.
Okay,
it's not that horrible.
I'm a huge fan. Here's a really weird one from my from watching that and rewatching it too. Mary Tyler Moore was kind of fine.
Mary Tyler Moore was hot as fuck.
Mary Tyler Moore, like, there was a shot where she was laying on the walnuts and she came out of the closet. I was like, Mary Tyler Moore can get it.
She was hot.
That might have been the first time I ever thought about that. But in Yeah. Anyway, so but other than that, that was the premise behind the show, and I thought it was well done. I thought, I think they made Agatha's intentions clear. I don't think we're going to see a face turn here. Like, she killed pretty much every witch in her coven,
They
including her
tried to kill
mama.
her first.
Yeah, but she
Yeah.
killed all of them, including her mama.
Mhm.
So I don't think we're gonna get a face turn from her. So I think everything, it's shaping up for this last episode on Friday. I mean, they've clearly
This
opened up the multiverse. They've clearly opened up this idea of potentially, the Scarlet Witch as a character. Is that going to lead to her having powers? Is that going to lead to her being a mutant? Are they going to open the door for mutants? Kind of what are y'all thoughts around the board?
Well, I'm not sold on the mutant storyline because when she demonstrates powers at the beginning, for the first time, she uses a probability. Well, she called it a probability hex as if it was a spell. And so it's unclear whether they're saying she already had some innate magic powers or if that's a mutant power and what the time stone opened up. And so her character development in the comics was she had her mutant powers, but then she started using chaos magic. And then Doctor Strange was like, hey, there's no such thing as chaos magic. So it's unclear where that's going to go. So I'm not sold. I don't know. I feel like sometimes the obvious things, they kind of just, they use that as a cover for the story that they end up telling. So I don't know how much of the mutant part of this are going to come in. It seems to me like they're strongly implied that she's just, untrained and ultra powerful witch and could get stronger with experience and training.
Right.
It could be one thing we find out.
And Agatha says, like, that's what drew her to this. It was like, you doing these witching things is what drew me to freaking Westview, and that's why I'm here. Sandman, any thoughts on getting mutants? Or is it, allegedly they have a real big reveal? Is it going to be Doctor Strange, which might be what that is, as it leads into the madness of the multiverse?
Yeah. As if we don't know, if people don't know, this is going to bleed either directly into the Doctor Strange movie or something to do with it. So yeah, I don't think Wanda herself is going to be responsible for mutants, but I think that's going to, the Doctor Strange multiverse and Spider-Man, I think all that's going to be kind of intertwined together because they both got some multi-dimensional shenanigans apparently that's probably going to be happening, and somehow out of all that mess they're going to try to introduce mutants out of that, I believe. So it's going to be,
it seems to me a Doctor Strange reveal would not be that big of a like because we already know who Doctor Strange is.
It's just the fact that he could be on a TV show.
Yeah, I mean, and the name drop of chaos magic obviously would lead you to think like, hey, that's going to be Doctor Strange, that's going to show up here. But I I'm thinking of a bigger like drop, like, oh shit, like whether we thought, oh man, like Reed Richards is going to show up and be Mr. Fantastic, because they've already they've already thrown out that movie's coming. They haven't asked anybody, at least that we know of. So you would think that was going to be one of the things, but they didn't do that there. So I don't know. Hutch, what did you think? I know you spoiled everything for you by 7 a.m.
I think the mutants are coming. The mutants are coming. The mutants are coming.
Yeah.
And they can bring in Doctor Strange. They can bring in Mr. Fantastic. I mean, they're all connected in the comics to Agnes Harkness and all that Scarlet Witchy stuff. Yeah. Go for it. Make it happen.
Fantastic Four
Season 2.
Agatha Harkness. You never know.
I will need a straight up defibrillator if somehow the Illuminati show up in this shit. I will need a straight up freaking heart attack clear, because again,
Namor,
you teased so much, but they've teased, well, I don't be no Black Panther in there, but they've teased like so much of this stuff that I think it's like, it's possible that you could have something like that. But I just I think I said this before, I really want him to keep Agatha a strong character here. I don't want her to be somebody manipulating her, like that's like some dude or man is like, oh, like this person is the one that's controlling her, like, and they kept her strong throughout. But right, so she's created this world. So like Tommy and Billy should not exist, right? Like I'm not a
Right.
crazy person. This is all fake.
That's what happened in the limited series,
I think
or
that's the
eventually
direction they're
happened.
going.
What
They
happened
all-
in disassembled too?
Well, what they
Yeah.
said was she could
might do
create matter, right? She could capable of spontaneous creation. And so
Yes.
clearly the vision that we've seen in this X world is something
Fake.
separate from the physical body, which has now been reconstructed.
Yeah, and that's the other reveal that they have the the white vision.
Blanco vision.
Yeah, and this is what I'm, and I know we kind of alluded to it too in our text chain. I was like, if this somehow leads to getting back Ultron, I'm not gonna be okay with that. Like, there's no place else to go with it. There's just no place to go. You've already done it. Like, there's no place to go with it.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, we've thrown out like it's going to introduce the X-Men, it's going to bring Fantastic Four, it's going to introduce bring Ultron back. I just don't feel like they're going to load all of that into one show. I mean, the show, it has to be something in and of itself. And I think very clearly we'll get some connective tissue to the next thing or something upcoming. But I just don't feel like they're going to just blow their wad and use this to roll out all
Everything.
of Phase 4.
The Falcon and the Snowman. Oh.
Yeah, I think it's more likely to just have some tie into that since it's next, or maybe Loki since it's closer in theme, or I don't know.
Yeah, when they showed like the Scarlet Witch in her eyes or whatever after she had did that thing, it looked like with the horns on her head, it looked like Loki. I was like, is that Loki? But I mean, I don't know. It did again. 9 episodes. Maybe they could have cut it to 8. We don't get any of the stuff with Tiana Paris or Agent Wu or whatever. Like none of that in the last episode. And I think that group of people with Dr. Darcy or whatever. Like I think that's a group that kind of kept it grounded in reality a little bit. And so you kind of went way fantastical or whatever. And I think the only reason that it didn't kind of go a little bit too far is that it kept bringing you back to the stuff that you were familiar with. You were familiar with what happened in Ultron, and you were familiar with those bits, so it made it a little bit more grounded. But I'm curious. I told my daughter, I was like, I wouldn't mind taking off work on Friday and just sitting there and watching that. But just sitting there and watching it, just being able to talk shit about it all day on Twitter. Yeah, like at work, at work I wind up having a lunchtime rewatch anyway. But it's kind of hard to not have to watch it early in the morning because it'll get spoiled.
So what time do y'all watch it? Do y'all watch it? Does it come on at 12:01 at night?
It comes on at 3 a.m.
3 a.m. So Pacific time, midnight.
Work.
Yeah, I watch it at. I don't know. I'm up working out at 3. So I work up at 5:30-ish.
Yeah.
After I've showered and done everything else, and then I watch it with my daughter before I leave for work, because I leave for work at like 6:15. So,
yeah, and my daughter wakes me up to watch it before school.
What?
There you go. Yeah, I was like, well, I don't want to say too much, and I know Hutch hasn't watched it, but after a while, dude.
I get on this chain at 7 something, and y'all said damn near everything about it.
But this Friday, I'm gonna be like,
the Vision's got a red dick. What? I don't need to know that.
I'm gonna be like, this Friday, I'm gonna be like, oh, you remember that shit when the fucking Reed Richards showed up and he smacked
if y'all say some shit like that, and I wake up at 7:50 something, there's going to be trouble.
So yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. And then again, we get a 2-week break, and it's Falcon and Winter Soldier. I just saw a commercial for it when my daughter was watching The Flash. We're gonna get Nemo or Baron Zemo with that freaking purple looking right out of it, man. Looking like Mushmouth. We're gonna get that.
Tell that guy take off his stupid fucking mask.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, we're gonna get that. That's almost worth the price of admission. It really is, so we'll see what happens. So
Mandalorian took off his mask, so sure, go for it.
Well, Strife's gonna take his off in the next couple of issues.
Oh yeah, he is.
Doesn't really work out. So whatever. Okay. So that's it. So we're back on a little bit of a regular schedule here. We got next week issues, 7, 8, and 9. So we'll be 3/4 of the way done after that. Thank God. And I've read ahead. Shit ends on a. Honestly, like you're thinking after 12 issues of this shit, it would end on something of like some sort of excitement.
No.
Just
what I remember,
fucking
yeah.
a turd wrapped in a turd. Awful. So whatever. I mean, again, hey man, y'all like that bullshit. So whatever. We'll just read it to say I read it. You know, something to accomplish before I freaking cave off this mortal coil. But whatever. All right. So remember, you can find this podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio. You just put in Brothers Comics. It'll show up on some of your podcast and streaming apps. So yeah, that's it. So as the X-Men, the animated music starts to play us out, I'm the producer of this podcast. I'm signing off. Brother Beavis, go ahead and sign off.
I will see you guys next week, and we will take our next batch of medicine.
Yes, for sure. Man. Yeah, I only had one. That's how bad these books were. Sandman, sign off.
Sayonara, people. We will see
Yes.
you when we see you.
Yes, and if you can't see the sign behind Hutch, if you're watching on video, it says Cable and Stryfe suck.
Cable equals Stryfe. Spoiler. That sucks.
Yes. Cable Stryfe equals sucks. There you go. Sorry. But Hutch, sign off.
Yes, people. I'll see if I can make it next week.
Hey man, these books are exciting. I lied. They were really good. All right. We'll see everybody on the other side. Peace.
Peace.